Hello, this is Mona Eltahawy, and this is my book for Pride Month, Kool-Aids, by the Lebanese-American author Rabia Alameddine. I first read this book in 1999 and it blew my fucking mind. And I reread it again just a few weeks ago, 21 years later, and again it blew my fucking mind. It was the first book that I read by an openly gay Arab author in which there were protagonists or featured characters who were openly gay, and some of those characters were HIV positive or who had AIDS. And it switches back and forth between the Lebanese civil war and the AIDS pandemic in the US. And the reason that everyone must read this book right now is because it is a searing indictment of the Lebanese civil war and the way, or the way the Lebanese civil war played out, was horrifically played out in Lebanon, and how the AIDS pandemic was horrifically played out in the US. Rabia Alameddine switches back and forth between two countries that he knows so well, and he skewers everything in Lebanon and in the United States, spares no religion, spares no culture, spares no one, as he takes this incredible eye and just says, fuck all of these injustices. And it's an incredible book to read now as we are going through this revolutionary moment, this black-led revolution against systemic anti-blackness and police brutality, which is against the brutality that is across the world, against all forms of brutalities. And also to read it now as we are emerging, trying to survive through this COVID-19 pandemic. And it makes you ask, and it makes you remember, who is the most affected by pandemics? Who is the most quote unquote disposable? Who are the marginalized that we ignore? Who are those who are on the front lines of wars and pandemics? And who are the people that we must pay attention to in these revolutionary times? And there's one particular line that really sticks out for me from this novel. It's when one of the Lebanese American characters says, "In Lebanon, I belonged, but I did not fit in. And in America, I fit in, but I did not belong." And that resonates so much for me as an Egyptian American. And the reason I now believe I read this book back in 1999 was because I was trying to, through someone else's experience and through someone else's voice, look at my own sexuality, look at my own identity and ask, who am I and what am I? Because there were so many layers of myself that I needed to peel back in order to say, this is me. And I knew back then, but I didn't have the words for it and I couldn't express it, that I was not heteronormative, that I was not quote unquote straight, that I was not, I did not want to fit in or belong anywhere. And this book really helped me do that, kind of like through someone else. And now that I've read it, where at a much later, I read the book in so I was 32 when I first read it, and I'm now about to turn 53. I do have the words, and I have the power to say, I am queer. I am not heteronormative. I reject heteronormativity and all its injustices and all its oppressions and all its straitjackets. I don't want it. I've never wanted it, but I didn't have the power or the words back then. And this book and this author, Rabia Alameddine, helped me find my power and helped me find my words. And his book, this book and all of his books should be on every single reading list compiled for Pride. This is Mona Eltahawy, and as always, I always end with fuck the patriarchy.